This kid from Ireland managed to work on one of Roddy Ricch's biggest songs, but how the hell did he do it? Sesh Nolan is a young producer from Ireland who after his continued success has moved to LA, but Sesh Nolan took a very different approach to growing as a producer and because of this has seen huge success. In 2020, Sesh Nolan started uploading beats and songs to TikTok and Instagram and a year later was working with major artists. Usually when we hear these stories, it's because the producer or artist have connections in the industry or family members, but in Nolan's case, he was from Ireland and had no connects. But because he took a very different approach to being a producer, it paid off. So what does Nolan do that other producers don't? The first key factor is that Nolan made sure he wasn't just a beat maker, and this is obvious when we look at his first TikToks, which are him rapping over his beats. But one of the defining differences is that Nolan learned how to arrange songs and not just make beats. Artists rarely want to work with beat makers because they don't bring very much to the table and are hard to work with. But when you showcase how good you are at arranging and building songs, artists instantly see the value because the producer understands the artist's perspective and vision and can bring it to life in a way that the artist may not have been able to think of themselves. Nolan would showcase his understanding for music by building new production around already famous songs, and this was the second key to his success. Most artists can't actually tell the difference between a good and a great producer, so by Nolan showcasing his production against hit producers' production, he was proving that he is on the same level and that with the right vocals he can make incredible music. This approach also has a lot of benefits because Sesh Nolan was building a brand and creating content that was interesting to a wide audience, and one of his first videos to blow up was him making Hans Zimmer sounds into a beat, and this style of content resonated with a wide audience. Most producers don't think about building a brand, but it is the ultimate form of leverage because when you work with Nolan, you weren't just getting a beat, you were getting a cosign from an established person on social media who has an audience of big players in the music industry. And this is a similar approach that the likes of Internet Money and Kenny Beats have taken to build more value in the market. When you make it accessible to show your talent, it makes working with bigger artists much easier, and this is how Nolan managed to land a Roddy Ricch placement. Tarantino, who works with Roddy Ricch, had seen Nolan's videos and reached out to him asking if he could send him some loops for the Roddy Ricch album, and this is how he landed such a major placement. But the final key that makes Sesh Nolan so successful is that he creates content around the songs he works on, which brings more value to the artist, as via his TikTok and Instagram he has the ability to impact how many streams a song gets because he can showcase the song on his platforms. Core reason Sesh Nolan is able to create so much demand for his production is that he makes it as easy as possible for the artist and brings as much value as he can outside of his production, and this is the part that most producers completely neglect. There is an infinite supply of great beats on the internet, but by going the extra mile and building a brand, you instantly put yourself in the top 5% of producers, regardless of whether your videos go viral or not, because it makes the artists you want to work with feel like they already know you, meaning that they don't need to be convinced of whether you are worth working with or not. I personally think that this is only the start of Sesh Nolan's career, and in years to come he could well be a household name in the music industry.